Hey everybody, it's Kelly Atchison at AStampAbove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little treat box, and you can actually use this for a bunch of different things. It doesn't have to be for treats, but I did put a little insert in here so my treats would stay in place. But isn't this just adorable? I love the new balloon pop-up Thinlit dies that goes with the Balloon Adventures stamp set, and that's what I used to make this box. So let's get started and I'll show you how easy this is, because it really is pretty darn easy. So I'm just using some scrap cardstock that I have here. You're going to cut your sheet of cardstock at 6.5 inches. And then the bottom of the box is 5 inches. And the lid for the box is actually 5 1/16 of an inch. And the 16ths are just one notch past the number 5. So each little tiny notch here, each little tiny line is a 16th. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the lid for your box needs to be just a little bit bigger than the bottom of your box so that it will fit over the top of it. Okay, so this is going to be the top of our box. We are going to score that first. And make sure you keep track of which one is the top. It's very important. The first box I made was backwards. So we're going to score each piece at 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to score each piece of this at 3/4 of an inch from all 4 sides, on all 4 sides. So we've got that one. And I like to measure this way when I'm doing small measurements. It just keeps your cardstock nice and straight against that backboard. I'm going to do this to the other piece too, same thing. This is the bottom of the box. I'm going to set that aside. The top of the box we're going to die cut with the balloon pop-up Thinlit die. And what you're going to want to do is take this die and center it right in the middle. And there's a little notch cut out down here so you can see that score line that helps you center it. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself just a little bit of a rim from your score line up, so that when you go to fold your box, everything can fold nicely. Just going to hold that in place. My camera's going to get a little wiggly. Don't get seasick. And this will just pop right out for you, just like magic, right? Get a pokey tool and poke out the rest of these little pieces. You could also use your die brush too. Okay, there we go. Now you are going to cut the tabs on the ends here. So I like to cut mine coming in from each side. You could cut them up this way, but you're only going to do it one way. You're going to cut this way, or you're going to cut that way, not both. You don't want these little squares on the ends to be cut off. We just need them to be cut so we can form a box. Okay. Then I always like to notch these out just a little bit. And that helps when you're folding your box up. So you're going to cut just a tiny sliver off of your tab. There we go. Okay, fold. Now you're going to make sure you're holding on to this so that you're only folding on your score line. Because we've cut out the inside area, this is a little more fragile than it normally would be if it was all solid, not cut out, right? So make sure you're holding everything down. There we go. It's just this simple. It's amazing, right? Okay, now, if you want to stamp anything, you're going to want to stamp now. So I'm just going to bring in some blue ink here and stamp right on my little banner. You could also right now stamp up your balloons if you wanted to, and I'll just demonstrate that to you. Because the stamp set that goes with this is photopolymer, you can see through it, so that's awesome. You can stamp your balloons right on there, or you can grab some scraps and stamp your balloons on a scrap. And this stamp set coordinates with the balloon punch, so that's awesome, right? So you can punch your balloons out and glue them right onto your die cut that way. So there's two different options there for you. You're going to do the same thing with the box bottom. You're going to cut on the tabs coming in from the longer sides, or the other way, it doesn't matter. But you just want to make sure that you're cutting your little slivers out of the tab, not the box part. Does that make sense? You want your sliver to come out of this little piece, not this piece right here. Okay, and again, you're going to fold and use your bone folder to get a nice crisp seam. The English call that burnishing. You watched my videos before, I kind of have a little fun with that word. Okay, so once again, here's our box. Now, you could use several different things to glue your box together. You could use sticky strip, you could use fast fuse. I always use my liquid glue. It's my favorite medium, especially for boxes. You don't want to use your tape runners. They won't hold. They're not meant to make boxes with. You're just going to pull up your edge and make sure you've got them nice and square right here and put your box together. And easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Nice and square there. There's our box bottom. Here comes our box top. Before I put this together, something you want to do first, I forgot about, is use your tape runner and add some tape to these bigger areas on the back of your design and put in a 5 by 3.5 inch piece of window sheet. And the only place you need your adhesive is right here because it's not going anyplace. Put those tabs together, make sure they're nice and even. And here's our box. Isn't that sweet? It's so simple. And because we cut the lid a little bit bigger, it fits over it perfect. Let's see if I can get it back open. Okay, there we go. Then, last but not least, if you're going to put the nuggets in your box, I made a little insert because otherwise they'd be sloshing all around and I wanted them to stay in place. So I'll show you how I did that. This is just a piece of designer paper and it is 5 by 5 and there's a lot of scoring on this, but it's super duper easy. So we're going to score it first at 1/2 inch, and you want to score your designer paper with a lighter touch than you do your cardstock because you don't want it to tear. And then I'm going to turn it around and go this way. So we did it at 1/2 inch. Now we're at 1 inch, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 4 and 4 1/2. Okay, so there's a bunch of score lines on here. Now you're going to do mountains and valleys. So fold it right in half because we know that one needs to be a mountain. It's in the middle there. And then you're going to go back and forth with those 3 score lines in the middle. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, a mountain. And then the 2 outsides need to be mountains also. When you're doing folds, you have mountains and valleys. And we're making 3 mountains just like that. This will fit 5 by 5, and then you're going to have to trim off a little bit. And this will fit right in here. Isn't that neat? And then your little candies will fit right in this little track. And you want to cut your designer series paper 1 inch wide by 3 inches long, wrap that around, and then I actually use Scotch tape to tape mine in the back because number one, you can't even see it, and number two, it sticks better. Tape runners, they'll fall apart. Don't do it. Glue, you know, you're dealing with such a little piece here that it's kind of messy. Use regular tape. It's a lot quicker. And there you go. You have this adorable little treat box. Decorate it up any way you'd like. Oh, one other thing I want to show you, this bow that I put on here. I actually took my paper snips and I cut this little bow off. So I just cut here and here, here and here. And then I slid my ribbon under there and tied a bow just like that. So cool. Thanks for joining me. I hope you make lots of these little boxes, and I hope you use them for a variety of things because you really could do jewelry. You could put a gift card in here with, you know, a few pieces of candy. The sky's the limit. Well, not quite. I mean, you can't fit a car in here. I keep hoping somebody will get me one for a present, but it hasn't happened yet. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me.